Ugh. Wait. Doing this. Am I live? Am I doing it? I'm doing the funny. Oh my god. I'm doing the funny. Alright. Am I fine? Probably am. Hold on. Ah! Okay, I'm good. Ha! Okay. So basically, what this is yesterday I decided that today I have the greatest idea to do. I thought I'm good with horror, so I'm gonna try horror. Again, okay, this is just kind of spoopy. I just don't know how spoopy. Oh, sorry, it's my pot. Oh. Okay. Sorry, so late. Although, it probably doesn't matter. Okay. Hi, Oz. I got jumped scared enough by my mom, so. I'm challenging myself. Okay, I'm gonna start. I mean, it's just 5 minutes and I'm so scared. Okay, I'm gonna just grab something to like squish when I'm scared. Okay, I got something to squish when I'm scared. I thought the bot wasn't here this entire time. I mean, I guess it wasn't. Wait, is this really scary? I don't even know. It just said horror, so I just assumed horror. Apparently it's not that long, so I shouldn't be. I shouldn't do that bad. Honestly, I shouldn't do that bad. Dagon is, yeah, that is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Hey, I get to be decisive today.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others reveal interesting facts about the original short story. It's her historical background, yes. And the author. We're learning about the author. That's so cool. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the Elder Sign. I don't know what the Elder Sign is. Is that bad? I don't know. Okay.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
Oh, he jumped out the window.
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Wait, am I the writer? Wait, is that a needle for morphine?
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
So just don't die. What's that? I don't know what I...
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
A super... Am I like a box? What do you mean you were a supercargo? Can I move? Oh, I can... Oh. Oh, okay, this is
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Ocean prisoners, imagine that. Oh, am I lagging? Looks like I am. Oh. Oh, this is trivia. Okay. The Huns are Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. After death. Jesus Christ. After death. Not to like... Yeah. Not to swear. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War I, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th July 19,000 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited, just as 1,000 years ago, the Huns, under their king Attila, I think, made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever dare to look cross-eyed at a German. I must say, I don't think Chinese people like looking cross-eyed. Personal experience. The refusal to take prisoners was clear. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention of 1899. Yeah. You can read the Discover Trivia immediately or go back to them later in the main menu. Turn off displaying trivia if you find that the feature distracts you from the story. This can be changed anytime in the options. Hi, Sushi. I don't know if this is on or not. That's the story. I'm gonna assume, okay, that it's on.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
I feel so British listening to this guy. He's probably not even British. He speaks very well. That's not trivia. I want trivia. Maybe it'll be bold letters. Yeah.
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Is this guy okay?
Never a competent navigator,
Oh.
I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Oh, that moon is brighter than my will to live. The sky's really pretty though, but that moon is unrealistic. Oh, I get to look around me.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Am I drifting? Am I actually drifting? Oh. I would love to click the moon.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
I thought this was gonna be a game. Am I kind of dumb? I think I am. I like this stuff. Oh. I mean, I guess there wouldn't be any history on a boat.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
I want to look elsewhere, not this.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Letting the music build up.
Its details I shall never know.
Okay.
For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
What is this? A kraken? Octopus? I guess this wasn't like historically accurate.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Kraken.
And in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Kraken.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Kraken.
For there was in the air and in the rotting soil a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Oh wait, this was mud?
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
I'm so...
The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Slowly. That's my boat. Is there... Oh, the oranges of Dagon. I think Dagon. Dagon seems right. Yeah, we'll say Dagon. Yeah. Seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature, H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's... reading isn't my thing. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze? Yeah, the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that the whole hideous crawl... Wait, what? I dreamed that whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. Exclamation mark. In defense. Of Dagon. Dagon. H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft's interest in the topics stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea smells in his own words. I have hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old. But I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dwellers in Darkness, Lovecraft 1927, Donald Wandrell. Wandre. Wan. Bro. I'm butchering his name so bad. Oh, scary. Okay, there's no jump scares. I like that. It's just spoopy. Okay.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Yeah.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
I guess it was pretty accurate, huh? What's this?
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might. Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Bro, our guy's gonna go hungry. What's the next story? There's nothing to touch.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
The heavens!
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Bro, there's just squid and octopus.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
The sea disappeared. What? Do I just touch the bag? Touchy.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Oh.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Yeah. I have no choice, huh? What is walking? You teleport?
All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
What is this? That doesn't seem normal. These things don't look normal. Oh, I'm walking west. Is that a whale? It's like... Oh, I got it. It's a giant crab. Am I just tiny? Is that why all the ocean
That night, I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
That's a hummock. Oh, it's the little mountain thing. What is that even? A giant snake? Massive eel.
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface.
Actually, it's kind of pretty here.
Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Okay, good choice.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night. But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Bro's gonna become a zombie, man.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again. And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Oh yeah, you always travel by night. Genius.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy. Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence. I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
That looks like the ocean.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness.
That's how religion got involved.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
I might have to just go for a bit after this. Oh, yeah. Okay. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. Bro. How long have they been gone for? Oh man, I'm so sorry. Oh wait. Oh. Wow. I wasn't muted. Wow, look at me go. Okay. Gonna continue. Darn it.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent. Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Okay, so basically I'm going down now. Heck yeah. Moving forward.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
Stygian deeps? Here?
All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
Is that a rock?
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Do I get that? Oh, I'm going down.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Yeah, good job, me. I found rocks.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Man-made structure would.
A closer scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
I'm gonna touch the rock.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
I approve.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
Time for us to worship it.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Okay. Basically look around, right? Everything looks normal.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
I always thought it was chasm. It was chasm this entire time.
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Okay. Why is it shining up there?
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the cyclopean monolith,
Is that what this is?
on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
This looks kind of cursed. I'm scared. Okay, just hope there's no jump scares.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I had ever seen in books.
Are you sure? Because I'm identifying sea creatures.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
Is that what a mollusk? Mollusks? Is that the plural for mussel? Dying.
Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Like what? Is that a rat?
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Oh, I just noticed the octopus. Oh, history! Dagon? Dagon. Okay, we're just calling it Dagon now. Contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals and characters' notes, the Shadow Out of Time, the Haunter of the Dark, islands merging from the ocean, the Call of Chitlu, Kutlu. I suck at this. Are fictional beings and deities. I got that one. Based on real events and mythologies. Mygon, Miko, Migo. In The Whisper in Darkness, it's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. I'm not getting the word right. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also include in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Oh, so this is just based off of a bunch of them. That's so cool. Touchy.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
What's a doré?
I think that these things were supposed to depict men.
Oh.
At least a certain sort of men.
No woman.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto. Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
The music is kind of creepy.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail.
I don't even see any face.
For the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
The heck?
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips.
I don't see the hands and feet though.
Glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall.
Am I not staring at them?
Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Watch there be mermaids.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Oh, that's so cool. I kind of hope they're still alive.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Those eyes off in the distance?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface, the thing slid into view above the dark waters. Vast, Polyphemus-like and loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith,
I am seeing squiggles.
about which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
The description sounds so mean. It's like a bully. Oh my god. Also, there's no scales on the arms.
I think I went mad then.
I think you fainted.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Oh, bro rat. Oh, I'm shaking.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Oh.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Oh, you mean wind? Oh. Bro, I look scary.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention. Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Mm-hmm. Oh. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called Commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith? Hello! I'm lagging. But he also took criticisms to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrated on weird fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1919, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explained his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm, one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments and the proper time take advantage of their more altruistic I think I said it right. Unless astute contemporaries. I can read. And a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims, I almost said citizens. No country is or even can be quote-unquote above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal can have miraculously changed. I feel like there would be another one, I guess not. This is pretty realistic. Yeah.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Oh. Dagon. Dagon. I can't read this. Was the main deity of the Philistines. Yeah. Worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, choose him English as the patron saint. Yeah. Sure. Yep. Of their war conquests. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem, and as an underworld. I thought it was underwater. Prisoner warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name. As in Hebrew, the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity prowling ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. I think I read that right. Oh. Is there nothing else to read? Oh, spoopy.
But soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
I can't. So I guess I leave the room. I don't see anything. Oh. August? Oh my goodness, all these giant words, man. Derleth. August Derleth. Okay, we'll call him Derleth. And the I'm losing my English. The Cthulhu mythos. Is it Cthulhu? Gosh. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. I'm going back to grade school English. Holy cow. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Derleth was a devout Catholic to the Cthulhu. Mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft, the English is getting to me, with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misinterpreted in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a, quote, mythology, unquote, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Derleth after the author left the mortal plane. How does he coin it after he died? What is this? Necronomicon. That's probably the word, the one word I said right. Bong, bong, bong. Oh. Love time. What's the exit? Is there really nothing to look at here? Why did I move here then? Oh, is it like him stalling time? Oh, it was a time staller. Huh?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
What thing?
I tried morphine.
The needle moved. They moved the needle. Bro, my guy's hallucinating.
But the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Its clutches.
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Contemptuous amusement. Story time. Well, Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12. Shock. In order to look and feel like an adult. Everything's in caps, so I always stop at the wrong time. Holy cow. In his correspondence with a friend, Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. Does that mean he became like an adult? He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Celia Brown, dated 13th February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intended to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts, or coarsens the delicate nature equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Drinking excited my personal repugnance. Hence, I don't drink. I let the herd do what they will. I am rather in favor of prohibition. What is reading? The prohibition of any one antisocial force, as well as any other. Source. The Spirit of Revision. Lovecraft's letter to Celia Brown, read Bishop H.P. Lovecraft's Sean Briany and Andrew Lehman St. S.T. Joshi. Is this how substitute teachers feel when they read names? Interesting. Next.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm.
Maybe this is why people are like English majors.
A mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war. This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind.
Oh, they're waiting for the war to be over.
Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
New York? She's waving. The Statue of Liberty is waving. I want to know what these skills are.
The end is near. I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Oh, that's what it means. I can't look away from the chair. so scared.
It shall not find me. God, that hand!
What's the hand?
The window! The window!
Oh, that sounds like a body. I don't know what happened. I am so confused. Okay, so there's actually a lot of trivia in the game apparently. Wait, it's not moving. Oh. Wait. Okay, what? The Railway Horror doesn't have any, but the Goon has like, what, 20? Trivias? Oh man. Okay, let's do this one. Let's not do that one actually. I'm kinda dumb. Wait. Gosh, hold on. What? Okay. I am very confused. Oh, this one isn't even out yet. Okay. I'm gonna go look for the trivia. What? Oh, wait, I guess not. Okay. As to letters... Wait, what? I'm stupid. Oh. I don't care about this anymore. Okay. Lovecraft's letters. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, epistolary expression is with me, largely replacing conversation as my condition of nervous prostration, becoming more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now, and am becoming as silent as the spectator himself. Exclamation mark. My loquacity extends itself on paper. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhardt's Kleiner, December 23rd, 1917. I'm glad you like potato chips. I like potato chips too. I agree with you. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survived to this day. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively large growth. But in youth, I scarcely did any letter writing, thinking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral, or a 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Selected letters 1929 to 1931, H.P. Lovecraft. Oh, so that was his way of giving presents. Lovecraft would often skip meals to forward postage. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War, 1961 to 1968, and World War I, 1914 and 1914 to 1918. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Okay. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe. Bro, why am I suffering with this? Around 1854, Frederick Sertuner, who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. This is why we need English majors. Lovecraft and the Great War. Dagon was written around a month after the United States entered World War I. Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleiner. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost... Sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. Where was I? Oh, my almost invalid condition. I argue that if I choose a regime soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which is not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or pierce of shrapnel could more conclusively and effectively dispose of me. Letters to Reinhard Kleiner, H.P. Lovecraft. But even though he passed from the physical exam, his mother prevented him from going to war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the oaths which unfit me for the army. I am Providence, the Life and Times, H.P. Lovecraft. S.T. Joshi. I don't get it. So he has, like... This is a lot of reading. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1919 in the Vagrant and Amateur magazine focused on the supernatural period. The story is the first in his stories that introduced an element from the Cthulhu mythos. Dagon itself, a pagan cult worshipped Dagon, later appeared in The Shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular works. 1917 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Gervals Dudley, a daydreamer. Not a daytime dreamer. who discovered a mysterious mausoleum in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. These two works marked Lovecraft's return to short story writing after he burned most of his attempt at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend William Paul Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. Is that weird fiction? Oh, okay. The Mystery of Volcanic Islands. I'm getting dizzy, I'm so sorry. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time. But some prove permanent. Yes. What? The floating pumice porous rock created when superheated pressure rock is ejected from a volcano can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae from clinging to it in 2001. Rafts and pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Horrors of the ocean. Oh. Sorry. The creator of Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of R'lyeh. Bro, can't read this. Was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the marina snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet below the ocean surface, in never-ending darkness, and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures such as the anglerfish, the fang-tooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. The loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowny, eccentric, grumpy loner. Considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. He lived in New York. At times, his social life was so intense his work would suffer for months. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias and resorted to hiding at home. At reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there. Whenever a friend knocked on his door, he also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe. With an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of paper scattered across the floor. What do you mean the pom-pom fish? I'm not a fish. I'm actually getting really dizzy. I'm gonna skip these last 6. Bro, I am so dizzy. I think I'll just end it here, bro. This is so scuffed. I'll end my stream here. Probably I need water. Maybe food. Maybe I should eat. Oh my gosh, great idea. Yeah. Okay, I thought there would be like some sort of gameplay, not like a continue button. Some sort of gameplay would have been nice to find like the hints and everything, but I mean, I guess I did get the warning beforehand, so yeah. The scenes are so beautiful though, and the person who voiced it Bro, they make me feel so posh. Okay, I'm gonna end my stream here. Thanks for staying.